According to the weather department here, Amphan, which developed over the Bay of Bengal, has started to make landfall and is expected to fully make landfall by this evening local time. It's hitting the area of the Sundarbans, which is in the southern part of the eastern state of West Bengal, and it'll move northwards towards the majorly populated city of Kolkata, and then eventually head on to Bangladesh on Thursday. In India, West Bengal and its neighboring state of Orissa are going to be the worst hit. Although it has weakened slightly since Monday evening, there's still expected to be severe damage to houses, to crops, severe disruptions to power grids, rail and road lines. Images, as you said, have shown strong winds and rain lashing the city, lashing the whole region, and waves as high as two-story buildings lashing coastal areas. My parents live in Kolkata, and I spoke to them earlier, and they mentioned that there's a constant roar outside. It's like the fury. They can feel the fury of the rain and the wind, and even within the confines of their home, they're quite scared. The Bay of Bengal is a hotbed for these cyclones. The geography of the area makes it quite conducive to cyclones developing. And of course, over the past few years, with climate change and increasing sea temperatures, the cyclones have been intensifying every year.
Sreya, you just mentioned people being very afraid, and rightly so. We know, and I mentioned this earlier, that the country is very much still under lockdown. How does that impact efforts to limit the damage that will be incurred by this cyclone, efforts to evacuate residents?
So 500 million people live around the Bay of Bengal, and so millions of lives are threatened. About 500,000 people have been evacuated, but these efforts are being impacted, severely hampered by social distancing rules in the time of coronavirus. Also, thousands of migrants who have been leaving major metropolitan cities and heading back to their homes and villages because their livelihoods have been destroyed by the lockdown, and they have no work and no money and no homes in the big cities. They're on the roads, they're heading back home, so they're in the storm's path as well. Also, a lot of these, governments, local authorities have said that they should turn schools and government buildings into shelters, but because of social distancing rules, they need more space. Also, many buildings are already serving as coronavirus quarantine facilities, so there's less of these available. Also, many people are really afraid to go to these places, and they're refusing to be evacuated because they're afraid of contracting coronavirus. So a lot of challenges for local authorities to deal with here, especially since West Bengal is one of the states most hit by coronavirus. In Bangladesh, people have evacuated Rohingya refugees from an island which is going to be hit. And these people were already battling infection in congested camps and disease, and they had coronavirus to contend with on top of that, and now this storm. So this cyclone really couldn't have come at a worse time for governments in this part of the world.